Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with toxic, abusive and narcissistic relationships. Today's subject is why do we want the narcissist back? Before I go on, I'd just like to say that these videos are for education and information purposes, and I speak from my own perspective as a female empath having been involved with narcissistic males. Now, I'm not saying that they are narcissists, that they are or they suffer with narcissistic personality disorder. That would need to be diagnosed by a clinician. What I am saying is that they have narcissistic traits. So, why do we want them back? What is it that they have over us that we want them back? It's awful, isn't it? It's absolutely awful. We just can't get them out of our head. We can't get this need for them back in our lives. And it's all sorts of things that create this need, but the main thing is it's called a trauma bond. And this trauma bond is set up by emotions and chemicals that happen within the brain. So I like to see the trauma bond as an umbilical cord that links me to my ex. And you need to cut that umbilical cord with a pair of scissors. And you can take a real pair of scissors. You can use an imaginary pair of scissors. Because what happens is, while we're the empath and they're the narcissist, even though we're not together, they are sucking the life out of you through this umbilical cord. You are still feeding them with their supply. And it's taking more and more and more away from you. And this is why you still feel that you want them back. Perhaps you want them back because you want them to apologize. Apologize for the things that they said. That did they mean it? They've said these things before and then they've apologized, but did they really apologize? Was it a real apology? Was it a fake apology? You'll never know. None of us will ever know. All we know is that this person is wrong for us. This person is bad for us. This person is not worthy of our love. So I did a video about the trauma bond. I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can have a look at that to go into more detail. But this connection between the two of you is fake. It's not real. It is not real. From you, it's real. From them, it's fake. From them, you were just a means to an end. You were a person who had money. You were a person who had a home. You were a person who could feed them, clothe them. You were a person who could drive them around until they found somebody with better supply, and then they moved on to that person. It's created by, the trauma bond is created by this constant idealization and devalue stage. And the idealization, also known as love bombing, this is when, the lovey-dovey emotions come out. They love you, they worship you, they can't get enough of you. Here's some flowers, here's some chocolate, let me take you for dinner. That's the love bombing phase. And yes, that is normal in most relationships. However, it doesn't turn into devaluation. And there's a certain level of love bombing that we can have in a relationship, and it does dwindle down over time, but there's still that love between you. It's still there. But devaluation comes in the form of gaslighting. It comes in the form of hurting you. It comes in the form of saying things to you that you think, well, hang on, that's not right. That's not what I wanted to hear. That's not what a person who loves me would say. And they will constantly take this, and it will go round and round in circles. And there's gaslighting, there's physical trauma, physical abuse. The majority of us suffer emotional abuse, but some of us do suffer physical abuse. And I advise you, if you can, leave that relationship. It's easier on your mental health if you leave the relationship rather than the narc leaving you. I wanted to leave my narc, but I couldn't due to other things that were happening in my life at the time. And he left me, and that has caused me so much hurt and pain because I did not have the upper hand. He did. So if you can leave, you're taking your power back. You're cutting that umbilical cord and you're already sucking back all that life into you. It is an addiction. We are addicted to them like a drug. And for me, I had a hard time quitting smoking, but it was easier, that was 16 years ago, it was easier quitting smoking than it is getting over this narcissistic ex. So the chemical reaction that happens, the love hormone, oxytocin, this is what we feel when we've made love to the person, when we've kissed them, when we've been in a loving situation with them. And then the fear hormone comes out when they start devaluing us, the epinephrine or the adrenaline. And this is what gives us our fight or flight or fear response. So a lot of you may have found that you were fearful and you were holding your breath and holding everything in. And this is your, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this place. Or you took flight and ran away, or you fought back if you could. Your body gets used to this fluctuation in hormones, and it becomes a cycle, and it's addiction. And the only way to get rid of this is to go cold turkey. In other words, to go no contact with the narcissist. So that is blocking them on social media, blocking them on email, blocking them on your mobile phone, trying to avoid seeing them. I know I did all of those things. I was lucky, though, I didn't have children with him, so it was easier for me to do all this blocking because I didn't have to have this conversation with him any further. It was just stopped dead. But some of you who have children, you may still need to speak to them. And if you do, I suggest you do this through email, because then at least you have a record of everything that was said. And try not to engage in these argumentative kind of messages that they will send you. Be stoic, be strong, 1 or 2 word answers. Yes, you can have the children next weekend, pick them up at X time, and then drop them back off at X time. So you're not saying, yes, well, you did this, you did that, you did the next thing. Try to keep those emotions out of the conversation. It's just going to upset you. But we still keep thinking, maybe if we try again, maybe if they apologize to us, maybe we can get back what we had before, that wonderful connection that we had, the soulmates that we were, the just the beautifulness of it all right at the beginning. But think about it for a second. That was right at the beginning of the relationship. What's happened in the last few months? What's happened in the last year, the last 5 years, the last 10 years? Do you still want to be in this place in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 5 or 10 years' time? I know I don't, and I didn't, and I don't want to be in this place where I am now, where I'm still connected through this trauma bond. And hopefully through the work that I'm doing, I'll be able to break this bond for good. It's going to take time. In fact, there are, I've listed 5 things here that will help you get over the trauma bond. And I know you're not going to like some of them, but it is difficult. It is so hard to get over this trauma bond. Number 1, time. Yeah, it's going to take time. I'm a year on, and I still have this trauma bond with him. There are still days when I feel this connection to him. When he first left, I took a load of things that he gave me, bits and bobs and various things that he gave me early on in the relationship, and I burnt them in my cauldron. And I really put some energy into that burning, and I sent that negative energy back to him, and I felt good. I felt really, really good for a couple of months. And then this up and down came again like a wave. And then I could see that he was busy ensnaring somebody else into his narcissistic web. And now he's in a relationship with this person. I really pity her, because she's got to go through what I went through. And if not now, in the future. But it does become easier. I don't cry as much anymore. Okay. So we need to learn to let them go. List all of the horrible, horrible things this person did to you. I'm going to put some links below to some of the videos that I've made previously about some of the horrible things that my nex did to me. Nex is narcissistic ex. And you can have a listen to those, see what you think, see if you relate to anything in there. But listing all of the negative things they did. So did they push you? What did they say to you? Did they physically hurt you? Go through all of those things and list them down, so that when you feel this need to take them back in your life, that you want them back, you want to phone them, you want to text them, you read this list and realize, that's why I'm not doing this. Breaking the bond. Now, breaking this bond is so difficult and so challenging. And as I said earlier on, imagining this umbilical cord and you cutting this cord, and it may be something you need to repeat several times, but you can do it. You can do it, and keep doing it as much as you like. There's a video that I'm going to put connected on the description below. It's full moon this evening for anybody who is in the witchy sort of esoteric frame of mind. And there's a full moon meditation that I recorded last month. So you might want to practice that this month. Tonight where I live, the sky's supposed to be clear, so I should get a good view of the moon. And if you can, go out, put your earphones in, go outside with your coat on, wrapped up nice and warm, and do this meditation if you can. I think it's about 20 minutes long. Next, purging. Get rid of every single thing in your life that reminds you of him. Gifts, jewelry, crockery, clothing, all those things that remind you of him. Now, I did burn a lot of things. I did throw away a lot of things. I broke a lot of things. Also, I packed some things away. I did give him the entire wedding album because I thought, well, I don't want to see those pictures again. They mean nothing to me. And I also burned a lot of those wedding photos as well, which was sad because some of them were really beautiful. The ones that I kept have my father in because I lost my father last year. So they have him in it, but I've just sort of cut off the photograph of him, the part with him in. If you don't want to get rid of those things, pack them away in boxes until you feel ready to bring them out again. The last thing is radical acceptance. Now, this is a DBT therapy, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. And it's when you stop fighting the reality. You stop saying, but what if, but I want this person back, this dreaming, this remembering what you had. You accept the reality that this person is gone. They're no longer in your life. Let them go. It's the only way to stop these feelings. It's the only way to stop this trauma bond. So you can do all of the things listed, cut that umbilical cord, throw away those things, burn them if you want to, and then practice radical acceptance so that you're not thinking about ringing them, you're not thinking about texting them, that you let that go. Stop stalking them on social media. Maybe you've created a fake account so you can go and look at them. Guys, it's just going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you more and more and more to see them being happy when you're so sad. Remember, they're not happy. They're just getting their supply. They would be looking happy with you as well because they're a narcissist. They're just getting their supply. They don't really love this person. They are just getting their supply. So as I said, I'm a year down the line now, and it has lessened a lot. There are still days when I feel this connection, but I do what I can to cut those ties. So stay strong on your path and know that you did nothing wrong. They did. You are enough. You are good enough, and you will get through this because you are strong, because you are a woman. Blessed be.